It's green. It's yucky. It's tasty. I like it. The different expressions from the little ones when they get their various meals throughout the day. How do you cater to their taste buds while ensuring proper nutrition? We have some ideas, plus a group of persons seeking to improve their literacy and numeracy skills through an initiative spearheaded by the Ministry of National Security. I'm Arroya Eubanks. Those and more after these messages.
Make sure the children get immunized. Hear this! Immunization, it is a must. This is not a joke thing, this you can trust. It is required by law for entry to nursery, to daycare and to schools. Listen up, it is necessary to prevent diseases such as the measles, the poliomyelitis, the lockjaw and the whooping cough. Immunize your kids, keep them healthy, keep them strong. Prevent deadly diseases such as mumps, rubella and diphtheria. Immunize your child today. Immunization, a key to good health.
A message from the Ministry of Health and PAHO.
Good day, I'm Carrie Ann Smith and this is your JIS News for Friday, May 29. United States ratings agency Moody's has upgraded Jamaica's government bond rating and government-related entities from CAA2 to CAA3. This means that Jamaica's outlook remains positive and the country will sustain the reform momentum under the Economic Reform Program, which is supported by the International Monetary Fund. In a release, Moody's said its decision to upgrade Jamaica was driven by two main factors. One was debt reduction and a commitment to structural reforms, and the other, improvements in the balance of payments and reduced risks. At the end of the 2014-2015 fiscal year, Jamaica's current account deficit was 5.9% and the debt to GDP ratio was roughly 139%. The debt to GDP ratio should reach 130.7% by the end of this fiscal year. The governments of Jamaica and the United Kingdom have renewed their partnership to strengthen the fight against illicit drug trafficking for another 3 years. A memorandum of understanding was signed on Thursday to allow both countries to share information, equipment, and personnel to clamp down on drug trafficking.
It is meant as a strong signal to drug dealers, would-be drug dealers, and would-be traffickers that there will be no free passage through our ports of entry.
The British High Commissioner to Jamaica added that the current agreement between Jamaica and the United Kingdom was going well.
So good, in fact, that it's, for us, acted as a model in other parts of the world, and we're pleased that we've been able to replicate it in Africa and elsewhere. And we're also noticing that some of our other partners are looking at it and saying that they are interested in following the examples.
From 2010 to 2014, the police arrested about 1,200 people at different ports of entry for drug possession. Minister Bunting is urging Jamaicans not to use illicit drugs or become involved in drug trafficking. Meanwhile, Jamaicans are being asked to support the global call to stop the illicit trade of tobacco products. That's the theme for this year's observance of World No Tobacco Day on Sunday, May 31. It's also one of the goals of the United Nations Framework Convention on Tobacco Control. At a JIS think tank this week, Health Minister Dr. Fenton Ferguson said it was among the UN FCTC articles commanding government's attention.
The ones that we are deeply concerned about right now is Article 5.3. That speaks to the relationship with public officials. That is of moment to us. Article 6, again, taxation. Of special moment would be Article 13, taps, tobacco, advertising, promotion, and sponsorship.
Legal officer in the ministry, Cheryl Dennis, says discussions have already started towards a complete ban on tobacco advertising, promotion, and sponsorship.
We have made significant headway and the discussions so far are positive.
And Executive Director of the Heart Foundation, Deborah Chen, is making it clear that tobacco smoking is more about an addiction and not choice.
It's not a matter of adults who choose to smoke. It's a matter about adults who are addicted and who started to smoke before they were aware enough about what the impact of what they were doing to their health.
The foundation's head also expressed full support for government's move towards comprehensive tobacco control legislation to protect the citizens from the harmful health and financial consequences of tobacco use. Kingston, St. Andrews, St. Catherine, St. James, Clarendon and Westmoreland recorded the highest numbers of child abuse reports between January 1, 2014 and May 15, 2015. As a result, children's advocate Diane Gordon-Harrison says these are the parishes targeted for government series of town hall meetings on children's issues. The first was held Thursday at the Edwin Allen High School in Frankfield, Clarendon. The children's advocate used the occasion to encourage greater partnership between government and community members to end child abuse in all its forms.
Let us not just sit back on our laurels and say, what is the government going to do about it? Let us own the problem. Let us recognize that we're a part of the solution, and let us start exposing the wrongdoers who continue to wreak havoc against our children.
The next stop for the town hall meetings on children's issues is Old Harbour in St. Catherine. Parliament will next week host an international conference aimed at strengthening its capacity to oversee public expenditure. The conference will run from June 2 to 4 at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel. It's being held in collaboration with the United Nations Development Programme, Parlaméricas, and the Inter-American Development Bank. Participants will include parliamentarians, experts on legislative oversight issues, supreme audit institutions, and professional accounting bodies both locally and overseas. Speaker of the House of Representatives, Michael Peart, says the conference will enhance Parliament's capacity to oversee the operations of government. And finally, passport applications and delivery return to the Constant Spring Road offices of the Immigration and Citizenship Agency PICA on Monday. PICA has been running those operations from the National Indoor Sports Centre this week to better handle the rush of Jamaicans seeking to renew their passports. That followed the announced fee increases which take effect on June 1. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Carrie Ann Smith. Thanks for watching.
What are you doing to help the fight against crime?
Sitting on the corner, minding your own business, definitely not going to work.
It is time for us to unite.
Unite.
Unite for change.
Citizens coming together to make their respective communities safer. The police, schools, public health, business, churches, NGOs, parents and neighborhood watch volunteers.
As we, the police, do our job,
we as citizens need to do our part as well.
Report crimes or even suspicious activities.
Let's all work together
as one united front against crime.
and make Jamaica the place of choice to
live, work, raise families, and do business.
Unite for Change, an initiative of the Ministry of National Security.
There's an ongoing initiative to improve the numeracy and literacy skills of those in the inner city. That initiative is being spearheaded by the Ministry of National Security and other stakeholders. It's a worthwhile venture. Take a look.
Instead, I'm a little woman, walk up and down. I can't just know, say, yeah, I wake up in the morning, I go at school, go and do something.
We learn from some basic English and maths.
It's a wonderful experience dealing with the student from the inner city.
Positive reviews from participants in a program to boost literacy, numeracy, and vocational skills. It's part of efforts to achieve strategic priority number 4 on government's agenda, human capital development, building the capacity of individuals so they can effectively contribute to the nation's growth. The Ministry of National Security through the Citizen Security and Justice Program CSJP has been working with non-government organization Operation Friendship as well as the Jamaica Foundation for Lifelong Learning JFLL to offer remedial training to persons in vulnerable communities. CSJP, which targets unattached youth in volatile communities, recruits the youngsters. Operation Friendship facilitates the training at its institution, and JFLL provides the math and English teachers.
To deliver a 10-month pre-vocational program, which was aimed at 1, improving literacy levels, as well as their social skills with minimal exposure to general construction.
Using aspects of the constant practicing teaching method, classwork, assignments, tests, and projects, students were prepared for the Hard Trust entrance exam. If successful, they would move on to CSJP's vocational program, which provides advanced skills training at Hard Trust NTA.
Okay, today we're going to be talking about synonyms. Have you ever heard the word synonyms before?
Kind and generous.
Vacant, empty.
Messy and dirty.
You had to work from the basic letter sounds and stuff onto the other areas of literacy. It was my first time teaching adults, so the transition was a bit difficult, but I mean, I got into it. The guys made me feel comfortable, and so it has been good.
Class, what are we going to do today?
Change decimal to percentage.
What are we going to do?
Change decimal to percentage.
It's fun when teacher teach about percentage and them thing and teach in a little tricky way to do it.
Students are interested in learning, right, and they try their best to maintain discipline and stuff like that.
And Mr. White is a living testament to what can be achieved if one is disciplined. Having been a participant in the CSJP, he completed his studies in primary education at the Jamaica University and is now empowering other young people. Administrators of the CSJP's pre-vocational training program worked tirelessly to educate and train the youngsters as they acted on strategic priority number 4 on government's list.
Many of them felt very stigmatized, and many of them had a low self-esteem, which resulted from the fact that they were unable to read at levels that they should.
But after intense work, a shocking revelation. 22 of the 25 students who took the Hard Trust entrance exams were successful, paving the way for them to move on to higher heights.
I feel overwhelmed. I say yes. I achieved what I come for. That was the aim, to pass the test. And I say yes, I did it.
I went to school from 2005, and I doesn't take up a book at home. And this program made me take up book and show interest of doing some work.
I think the success can be attributed to the motivation, to the quality of the instructors that we had, to the fact that the youngsters had to do the work which was necessary. We were able to come up with a new design for the syllabus, which really sort of focused on what had to be done in order to get them through the exams.
We are going to a next level, construction, getting a skill.
But the participants already have a rudimentary understanding of general construction, which will give them an edge when they begin CSJP's vocational program, Advanced Skills Training at Hard Trust NTA.
It teach me like to hold the hammer the right way.
You don't hold the hammer down in the neck, you hold the hammer at the end and you swing your wrists.
Well, my mindset is to inform other young men outside, in and outside the community, just to show that we get off the road and can come down at Operation Friendship and get it further.
I'm that star up in the sky, I'm that mountain peak up high. Hey, I made it, I'm the world's greatest.
To celebrate the achievement of the youngsters, a graduation ceremony was held at the offices of the JFLL. The results of a survey, the Learner Performance Feedback, indicated that the program did much more than help participants pass the Hard Trust entrance exam.
87% indicated that their team building skills have improved. Excellent. 91%, I want to listen to this, 91% indicated that their conflict management skills have improved.
I'm that star up in the sky. I'm that mountain peak up high. Hey, I made it.
You can't really look at persons from the inner city and say they're not worth it or they can't make it. If you as a teacher just do what you have to do, teach them, love them, just talk to them about reality and encourage them.
Come to Operation Friendship. We are willing, we are able, we have the manpower, we have the space, and we have the motivation to help wherever it is possible.
And I think that many of them see it now as a launching pad for greater things to do with their future.
So CSJP, Operation Friendship, and JFLL have been working together to achieve government's strategic priority of human capital development, improving numeracy and literacy levels of unattached youth while developing their social and vocational skills, building their capacity to make them employable and marketable so they can contribute to national development.
I'm the world's greatest. I'm that little bit of hope when my back's against the ropes.
Play is very important to the development of children. It allows them to use their creativity and develop their imagination. Through play, children interact with the world around them. They learn how to work in groups, share and resolve conflicts.
They learn rules and they learn about respecting others and waiting turns and setting their own rules and guidelines for their games.
Set limits, but allow your children to play. It will help them develop the confidence and resilience needed to conquer future challenges.
And it's not just play that's important to the little ones. Proper nutrition is equally vital. More tips coming your way.
It's a long-held belief that a healthy child is a better student, and a big part of children being receptive to learning and meeting their developmental milestones is a well-balanced diet. We support that notion, and so we've enlisted the help of Charmaine Edwards, head of the nutrition unit in the Ministry of Health, to give us some useful pointers on how to make the first few years of our toddlers' education productive. Charmaine, so happy to have you. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
All right, so tell us about what is a proper nutrition, what is proper nutrition for like a 3 or 4 year old child?
Right, so I would say that the same thing applies for the adult. A healthy child requires a balanced meal from all the food groups, and there are 6 of them. Food from animals, staples, vegetables, fruits, and so on. So they must get nutrition from all of them.
Persons would like to know what would constitute a balanced meal for a basic school age child or children.
Right, so one of the things parents, caregivers need to pay attention to is not necessarily the amount of food that you will give a child based on the age, but what we need to pay attention to is the way they are growing, because children grow in spurts, and so they're going to also eat in spurts. And we should also be mindful that at this age, food is secondary to these children. So we have to make the eating experience a very pleasurable one. So what would this constitute? As I said before, we need to focus on the 6 food groups. So food from animals, we know we need to give them their protein source. And that is a key group that this nutrient comes from. On average, they require about 2 ounces of meat. What does that look like on a plate? A chicken leg. No, we're not talking about the drumstick part that is on the wing, the regular leg. A leg, or for the other types of meat, think of a matchbox. So 2 matchbox sizes would be the amount of meat that you give to these children. There is the carbohydrates that we get mostly from our staple foods, the yam and the banana, the ground provision as we know it. And on average, they need about like a half cup of that. There's also our vegetables. They need about a quarter cup of cooked vegetables. These are the ones that give you starch and so on, not the free ones like the lettuce and the tomatoes. I'm talking about like pumpkin and carrot and so on. Fruits in general, a medium fruit is good for them. But if you're going to be giving them as liquid in form of a juice, then they need about a quarter cup. All right. We need to be mindful that not all juices are juices. We need to read labels to ensure that there's no added sugar. Once there's added sugar, it's no longer a fruit juice. It then becomes a fruit drink. So we need to be careful of that. And the fats and oils you will use in cooking, and we don't give them more than about 2 teaspoons. I know we're having more than that. So, and what you want to do is stretch their meals over the day. So we are saying 3 meals and 2 to 3 snacks, right? And we always hear about a 2,000 calorie diet. They need around about 1,700 calories. And you're going to spread it out throughout the day, all right? The 3 meals and 2 snacks. And a snack is not what we are used to, a snack. We need to give them healthy snacks. Jamaica is abundant in fruits and vegetables, and they form good snacks. I know children like crunchy stuff. A carrot is a crunchy vegetable and makes a good snack when you serve it with peanut butter. It's actually very tasty. So you may want to try that. But there are a lot of fruits around, there are a lot of vegetables, cucumbers, that can be used as snacks. But you want to vary it, so, you know, with the regular stuff, there's crackers, and there's cheese, and there's peanut butter, and there's jam, and there's jello, gelatin, that they can have as snacks. So we need to be mindful of what a snack is as well, because you don't want it to replace the meal.
So there you have it. Nutrition is a major part of a child's learning experience. So ensure your child has the right ingredients to grow and to learn.
A message from the Bureau of Gender Affairs and the Dispute Resolution Foundation, paid for by the UN Women Fund for Gender Equality.
Switching gears now, life is unpredictable. There are so many unknowns, but with this particular undertaking, one can have some form of peace of mind. Take a look.
Insurance is a fairly old concept, but it's simple.
It is a promise to pay for some damage or loss that occurs to somebody or a business for the exchange of a premium, a charge. So you pay me to cover for some unfortunate, unforeseen loss that causes damage, and if it happens, I'll pay out whatever it costs you.
In essence, persons pay a premium or money on a monthly, quarterly, or annual basis depending on the arrangements, and if something happens, the insurance company will in turn give you money or assistance to compensate for the loss. Now, even though there are different types of insurance, they fall into 6 main categories: auto, property, liability, life and health, money, and business interruption.
It's about insuring your physical property, your home, your business, equipment or contents in your home or in your business, and the insurance covers you for a multitude of different things, you know, from fire to hurricane to flood, earthquake, etc.
So in the event that your roof was blown off during a hurricane, for example, once your insurance policy makes provision for that, you will be able to replace your roof.
Life insurance is covering you, the person, in case of that unfortunate demise. You buy a life insurance policy and it's supposed to last throughout your life. And then when you do go, the insurance company will pay out to your beneficiary who you stated on the policy.
Those beneficiaries can be your spouse, children, family member, or friend. It gives them a chance to take care of expenses that you would have taken care of if you were alive, while giving them a chance to adequately take care of themselves. Life insurance policies also come with an investment component that allows you to get a sum of money over a specified period. It's a similar thing for health insurance. If you get sick, your insurance provider will ease the burden by paying a part of the doctor's fee or fees associated with pharmaceuticals.
You can insure cash. You have cash in your business, you may be held up, you may lose the cash in transit to the bank, whether it's via an accident or via being held up, and you can insure that as well.
Now, insurance is extremely important. Why? Things happen, and when they do, it can put a major dent in your pocket, eating away savings, cutting down income required to take care of everyday expenses, or just leaving you broke and helpless.
Whether it's a slip and fall and the hotel has to pay for that injury, or it's a fire and you have to rebuild your home or your business, it's important to buy insurance to protect against those things.
Getting an insurance policy is not as difficult as one may think. Jamaica has over 10 insurance companies and scores of brokers and agents. You can access the market by speaking with any of these persons.
So they would be able to guide you from there and tell you what type of coverage is required, give you an application form. It usually involves an application form you complete, and come up with a premium that you're going to pay. And in exchange for that, you'll get a contract that says, if these things happen, we will pay your loss.
Once customers adhere to the terms and conditions outlined in the policy contract, the insurance companies are entitled to compensate customers for any loss they face. Now, cost of living is getting higher, and some may argue that their disposable incomes cannot afford additional demands. How do you choose which insurance policy is important?
Well, the first ones are the ones that are required by law or regulation. You can't avoid those. So you're driving a car and the law says you have to carry a minimum amount of insurance. So even with the rise in cost of living, you have to make sure that you're budgeting for your insurance for your car because it's a requirement by law. You want to consider all the eventualities of life and what can displace you and your normal livelihood. And if you can afford to be displaced by a certain amount, then those are policies that you can cut back on. For the ones that you cannot afford to be displaced by, then you need to maintain those policies. Gentleman, let's call him Joe the plumber. He's a primary breadwinner for the family. Wife doesn't work, 2 kids in school, he's supporting the family. He has his life insurance policy. That's something that you don't want to stop paying. You don't want to stop paying that because you have people depending on your income to survive. So before you think about cutting that one, you need to look at other ways in your life that you can save because that's very important if something should happen to you.
So if Joe the plumber had a $1 million life insurance policy, his family could get that money to continue meeting their basic needs. From time to time, insurance companies are known to give customers the runaround, but there are certain things you can do to minimize the hassle. Keep a checklist. Learn all you can about the claims process, speak to your representative frequently, submit required documentation on time, and stick to the terms and conditions of the contract.
Read the policies. Most companies have specimen policies available, sample policies available. If they're not readily available, if you ask for it, they can make them available to you. Contact a broker, contact an agent, sit with somebody, especially when it gets more complex, to explain issues to you. Make sure you read the policy and ask questions.
So it does pay to insure. Think about the types of insurance that work best for you. Make the sacrifice to pay the necessary premiums. It makes no sense being penny wise and pound foolish.
And that's it for this Friday's edition of Jamaica Magazine. Thanks for staying with us. As the weekend approaches, remember to hug your family and friends and let them know how much you love them, how much you appreciate them, and how much you enjoy having them in your lives. You may also encourage them to watch programs produced by the JIS every day on this station or at jis.gov.jm. our YouTube channel, or other social media platforms. You may also save the date for our show tomorrow on this station. I'm Arroyo Eubanks, and this has been Jamaica Magazine. Have a great weekend.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.